Now, Montana is in the middle of dealing with a disaster, a wildfire. These fires, of course, are spreading across the state and have burned thousands of acres of forest. They've also destroyed 2 homes, threatened businesses, and even claimed the life of 1 firefighter who was unfortunately crushed by a tree. And these fires show no signs of stopping. Now, Ryan Zinke, who's related to the story, he is the Interior Secretary for the Trump administration. Now, he's also a native of Montana. In fact, they had a recent election in Montana to replace Zinke, which pit Greg Gianforte versus progressive candidate Rob Quist. I covered that story quite a few times. Now, Gianforte is famously or infamously known as the guy who body slammed BuzzFeed reporter Ben Jacobs. So, oh boy. Well known for that. Now, Zinke traveled home to Montana with Agricultural Secretary Sonny Perdue for a briefing on these deadly wildfires that are ripping through the state. Now, during that briefing, they decided to blame the wildfires not on drought conditions caused by climate change, but on something else. For that, I go to the Huffington Post. They blamed it on mismanagement resulting from lawsuits by what they called environmental extremists. At this briefing at the Lolo Peak Incident Command in Missoula, Zinke and the others spoke of the importance of getting ahead of wildfires by better managing the forests, as well as the threat they say certain environmentalists pose to that effort. Interesting. Now, Senator Steve Daines, who was also there, he implied that the town's timber mills have been replaced by lawyers working for what they called extreme environmental groups fighting to stall and stop efforts to clear dead and dying timber. See? Hey, it's all the liberals' fault. Those liberals or their damn lawyers, they're stopping us from preventing wildfires. It's all their fault. See, nothing to do with climate change. Hey, guys, look away, look away, look away. It's not real, it's fake Chinese hoax. Look over there, lawyers. Really? Look, scientists using science have shown that climate change has been driving up temperatures on land. And what that does is that it ends up triggering longer wildfire seasons in western states where it's already very warm. Now, wildfires, they do happen. They have happened for centuries, right? And one of the ways to fight it is by clearing out dead trees and thinning out forests. It's very effective at stopping the spread of wildfires. However, climate change, what it does is that it helps to create those conditions through longer drought periods, right? That makes it easier for fires to start and makes them harder to contain. So, in effect, that lengthens wildfire season. So, that's not a good thing, okay? In fact, last year, researchers from Columbia University and the University of Idaho found that climate change has been fueling longer wildfires in the western United States for decades. And while you cannot blame climate change for any individual fire or any individual weather event, you can basically look at it as something that causes those conditions. So you have drier conditions for longer, there's just more chance of something random starting a fire. For example, a lightning strike. Okay. And yet, even looking at all the data, these people, they don't want to see it. Okay. They would rather blame the liberals than actually accept the science that's peer reviewed. In fact, here you have Daines saying, quote, "The climate has always been changing. We go through warmer cycles, cooler cycles, droughts, excessive precipitation. We're in a warm cycle right now. We're in drought conditions here in Montana, and consequently, we're having a severe fire season." Again, that's the entire argument they use. Oh, but it happened before. Yeah, of course it happens before. Yes, there's a little bit of truth to that. The thing about climate change is that it makes it worse. It takes conditions that already exist and exacerbates them. See, that's the thing, right? Climate change, what it does is that it does not create drought conditions. It prolongs them. It doesn't create severe storms. It makes them, storms that already would have existed, makes them more severe. That warming has an impact. And if you don't understand that, you don't have an elementary understanding of actual science. It's, look, climate denial is faith. That's nothing more than faith and denial, okay? No. I have faith that we cannot change the environment through our actions. Really? Okay, man. Despite the evidence that shows that you are wrong. Now, anyway, what makes this worse, right, is not the fact that climate change is fueling these fires, right? Is helping to create the conditions of these wildfires. Is that what we're doing about it, right? Now, President Trump, his proposed 2018 budget has called for massive cuts in efforts to fight fires. Okay. The budget calls for $300 million reduction to the U.S. Forest Service wildfire fighting program, and another $50 million to cuts in wildfire prevention efforts, and a 23% reduction in funding for volunteer fire departments. So here you have a perfect storm. You do have climate change, and it is getting worse. You also have a reduction in money for firefighting, which is going to impact the western states that are already seeing wildfires even more. Why not just have planes drop gas and matches in the forest? No, don't actually do that. That's a bad idea. Knowing Trump, he might be dumb enough to actually try that. Can't burn down the forest if there's no forest. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Terrible, terrible idea. But look, that's sort of what we're doing in essence by ignoring the issue, okay? And instead casting blame on the very people who are actually trying to protect the environment against this. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.